भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। We'll start with the chapter 7, the illusory world.
Chapter 7, The Illusory World. The origin of the world has baffled the human intellect from time immemorial. How has everything emerged? When did the world begin? Whence this world? Wherefore? These perennial queries have disturbed the human mind for millennia. With no answer in sight, people developed a mental fatigue. And out of desperation, they planted the concept of God as the creator of the universe. None realized that God was just a name given by the human mind. And people carried the concept unquestionably to the present era. No human would dare question its authenticity. The questions when, whence, wherefore the world posit two concepts separate from one another. But the concepts of when, whence, wherefore, being expressions of time, space, and causation, form an integral part of the world. They cannot be separated from the world. Not realizing this, the questioners placed when, whence, wherefore on one side and the world on the other. By doing so, they place the world before the world, create the world before it is created. That poses a logical fallacy. The waking and dream worlds that the waker and dreamer experience are mere projections of their respective minds. There are no solid worlds standing before them, but for the thoughts of the mind which project them. An ant's mind projects an ant's world. An elephant's mind projects an elephant's world. A fish's mind, a fish's world. A human mind, a human world. No mind, no world. The world does not exist apart from the mind, as evidenced in the state of deep sleep. It being so, how does the concept of creator fit in? Yet the mass of humanity are led to believe in the existence of a creator. The masses look at a pot and claim there is a pot maker. Look at a watch and conclude there is a watchmaker. Extending the same principle, they looked at the projected world and believed in a world maker and christened the world maker as God. Hence, the concept of a creator creating the world is prima facie arbitrary, irrational. World is Maya. In truth, the solid seeming world is merely an illusory projection. Vedanta calls it Maya. Ma means not. Ya means that. Maya means not that. You ask if this world is real. Vedanta says it is Maya, not that. No. How can the world be real when it is transient, fleeting, passing? The world does not exist at all times. It disappears in deep sleep. It is also said to dissolve completely upon self-realization. The world does not stand the test of reality. Reality is something that lasts forever. The world, therefore, cannot be real. Then, is the world unreal? Vedanta says, Maya, not that. No, it is not unreal either. For the reason, unreal means that which never existed, like the horns of a man or flowers in the sky. This cannot be applied to the world because the world exists for you now. Hence, it cannot be unreal. If the world is neither real nor unreal, can it then be partly real and partly unreal? Vedanta says, Maya, not that, no. World cannot be partly real and partly unreal, for reality and unreality cannot coexist. Thus, the world you experience is neither real nor unreal, nor partly real and partly unreal. It is Maya, a mere illusion. Analyze a dream. The dreamer and the dream world are rejected by the waker as unreal. But the dreamer swears by the dream world, considers the dream world a solid reality. The dreamer and the dream world appear simultaneously. The dreamer would never accept that his life has commenced just a few minutes back. The dreamer declares he is 40 years old. He can account for those years in great detail. He goes over to his university and points out his name in the list of its alumni. Next, he asks the principal of his high school to confirm his term therein. He even shows the municipal records wherein his birth was registered. Moreover, the dreamer swears the dream sun and moon, the hills and dales, rivers and lakes have been there for ages. The dreamer considers everything in the dream to be real. With all those proofs, the dream has lasted only 6 minutes. Now carefully scrutinize the waking state. The waker and the waking world also appear simultaneously. The waker declares emphatically that he is 50 years old. Like the dreamer, the waker also has a history of his own and can account for his entire life, bring up his university, high school, and birth registration exactly as the dreamer has done, and substantiate the period of 50 years with proofs akin to those of the dreamer. The waker also swears by the world of the waking state, that it has existed for ages. He pledges the sun and moon, the hills and dales, rivers and lakes in the waking state have all been there forever. The nature of the experience the waker goes through is not any different from that of the dreamer. Both the waker and the dreamer swear by the world that each experiences, even as the one negates the other's world. Vedanta declares that you now as the waker cannot claim any more reality of this waking world than you earlier as the dreamer had claimed of the dream world.
Yeah. To summarize what we have studied till now. In Maya, it is very important to distinguish the two words, creation and manifestation. Very, very important, because these, even though these words look so simple, so innocuous, but the entire Vedanta is revolving around these simple words. First thing that you have to understand is creation creation or appearance manifestation. The difference. Vedanta doesn't talk about a creation, it talks about manifestation. It doesn't talk about the world, is asking when this world is created. Everybody, the origin, we are discussing about the first topic, the origin. So whenever we talk about the origin, we always use the word creation. Having taken the word for creation granted, we ask so many questions. When was this world created? How is it created? What was the purpose for which it is created? What will happen to it after it goes? Where it will go? What will happen? All these questions arises from just one word. What is that word? Creation. Vedanta comes and says, remember, we don't use the word creation, we use the word appearance, manifestation. If you can catch this difference, if you can understand and catch this difference, you have gone a very, very good level in understanding the fact of life, which is Maya. Because in the previous class we said, Maya is a statement of facts. You simply say it is a fact and get away. How can it, how is it substantiated that it is a fact? Simply you say it is fact. Just because you say it is fact, does it become a fact? The origin of the world, the mystery. Creation implies something which wasn't there has come into existence. In Vedanta, we don't talk about creation in that sense. We talk about world as appearance, manifestation. Therefore, first thing that you have to understand is the word creation is an inaccurate word to describe the event called creation. Then what word we use? Then what word do we use? We use the word appearance, manifestation. Manifestation of something which existed in an unmanifest state. So we define creation as, if at all we have to still use the word creation. In Vedanta, we don't use the word creation at all, but all of us are very comfortable using the word creation. We cannot get rid of the word creation from our vocabulary and dictionary. If at all you still want to use creation, use it as what? The dormant, unmanifested something came into manifestation. So for the sake of simplicity, we say creation as creation, but what do we understand it as? Manifestation. So first important thing to understand is there is no such thing called creation. It is something called manifestation. if you read the second word in the topic, first paragraph, the origin of the world has baffled the human intellect from time immemorial. How has everything emerged? How was everything created? We'll never use the word creation. How everything has emerged. Are you able to follow? Simple words, but brings about a lot of clarity in understanding what manifestation is. Even from a very basic angle, the law of conservation of energy says nothing is ever created. Nothing is either created nor destroyed. It means there is no such thing called creation. There is no such thing called destruction. It means appearance. Right knowledge removes the appearance. Manifestation, right knowledge removes it. If we say something is created, you accept the word creation, then the human intellect will be baffled forever, not knowing how to get the answer. You can never get the answer. Why you can never get the answer? The word that you are processing itself is wrong. First word you make a mistake, down the line all the analysis will be bound to be wrong only. So in Vedanta, first thing that we establish is what? Creation or appearance manifestation. Appearance, manifestation and all is synonymously we use here. Manifest is that which is available for perception, transaction. Now, Maya and Varambod, we should be very clear in using when we say something is manifest, what does manifest means? That which is available for perception and transaction is called manifest. What is unmanifest? Atma Bodha. Butter in milk. Remember that example, butter in milk. Butter in milk is the standard Shastric example to explain the unmanifest. We know milk has butter, but for all practical purposes, it is not available for perception and you can't put your hand inside milk and scoop out butter. Can you? Therefore, unmanifest means what? It is there, but not available for perception and transaction. That is, if, now extend the principle. Now, if world is manifested, it means it should be existing it should have existed in unmanifest form. That unmanifest form, which is indeterminable, which is non-understandable, Vedanta has given a word to that. And that word is Maya. Out of that unmanifest entity power, the indeterminable, non-understanding entity, something comes out of manifestation. Therefore, Vedanta says the manifest world is Nama Rupa. That manifestation comes out of that which is dormant, which is non-understandable, which is ununderstandable. That non-understandable entity is called Maya. Therefore, we say world is mithya, temporary existence. That which brought about the appearance is, what is the power that brings about the appearance? The power that brings about the appearance is called Maya. It's better that this lesson is Maya, sir, for us. Because it's not the rest of the things are very clear. It's not that we understand rest of the things. This is something that is simply, you also say Maya, Maya, Maya. The books also says Maya, Maya, Maya. Week after week after week, you come up with some new stories on this entity called Maya. The power in the unmanifest form which brings about the manifestation. It is in the unmanifest form. So when it becomes manifest, it manifests as the Maya, manifests as the world. So the world is available for transaction. The world is available for perception. All the ornaments existed in the unmanifest form in gold. Correct? All types of ornaments existed in gold in unmanifest form. When it becomes manifest, we call it as earring, ring, chain, bracelet, I don't know, crown. Biscuit, biscuit, that also comes, no? Biscuit. Newspaper, you see gold paste. I don't know how they make gold into a paste. All these various forms comes out of gold because all of that exists in unmanifest form. Something happens and it becomes manifest. What happened that it become, what had happened, what brought the unmanifest into manifestation? What is that power that brings the unmanifest into manifest? What is that power? Extraordinary word. The word is Maya. The gold does not become the chain. If gold has become the chain, then only you can ask, how did it become a chain? You say, gold continues to exist. Gold continues to exist as gold. Once this is understood, it becomes very clear. What? It is Brahman. Because of Maya, it appears as the world which is Nama Rupa. This is the summary of what we have studied till now. This is what we have studied in all these sessions till now. So the question, when, why, wherefore, all this has no meaning when it comes to this world. Are you okay now? All this has no meaning at all, because the manifest, the unmanifest becomes manifest. When will the unmanifest become manifest? What will, you can still ask the same question. Mind will continue to ask the same question. For which, what is the answer? Vedanta says, one word. What is that word that brings the unmanifest into manifest? What is that word that brings unmanifest into manifest? Maya. It is Maya. Therefore, Maya is a statement of fact which talks about the appearance of the world not creation of the world. When we talk about creation, then naturally what follows creation is progression. Creation, and then it progresses. Why nature has stopped with human beings, sir? From unicellular to bicellular to this, and come, and then it looks like it has stopped with human beings. And then in human beings, lot of progress happens. Progress, and keep progressing for forever. Vedanta says this is Maya. This is Maya. Why? All that is manifest was existing in the unmanifest form. That is why when they talk about a statue, beautiful sculpture, they say, I just knocked off all the, when the unnecessary things are knocked off, you get it's not, it is there already. Who sees it? We see a rock, that man sees, correct? You see a rock, that man sees a sculpture, isn't it? I see a vegetable, my mother sees, what does she see? I only see a vegetable. I only see tomato separately. I only see everything separate. What does the mother see? Okay, what does the cook see? That cook sees a dish, correct? It is there in an unmanifest form. You have the right knowledge, you see it. It's there in an unmanifest form. If you have the right knowledge, you will see it. And what is the right knowledge? The manifest comes from unmanifestation. It will be manifest for a while and then goes back to unmanifest. So the cycle of manifestation, unmanifestation, manifestation, unmanifestation keeps happening. And how long it will happen? Till you have the right knowledge. What is the right knowledge? It is gold that is appearing as ornaments. The destruction of the ornaments doesn't destroy the gold. The destruction of the ornaments doesn't destroy the gold. Similarly, Maya brings about the manifestation and then it goes back into unmanifestation, and the cycle will continue as long as you don't have the right knowledge. What is the right knowledge? The knowledge of Brahman, the knowledge of Brahma Vidya. The moment you gain this knowledge, what happens? You will not say the world exists, nor you will say it didn't exist. It just appeared. Just as upon waking up, what do you say about the dream? It just appeared and disappeared. But that appearance cannot be called as illusion because you are experiencing it, no? You are experiencing it. What would you call it as? It is neither real nor unreal, seemingly real, and because of the seemingly real, you miss that which is real and get carried away by that which you see. Never get carried away by what you see. Try to understand what is it that is adhara, the support of it. And remember, the Maya teaching is the essence of Vedanta. The Maya teaching is the essence of Vedanta, and in this understanding, the key to moksha. The huge house, the huge door, isn't it? The house is huge. The door is big. But the key is small. You don't carry the key to the size of the door, isn't it? You carry a small key. Sir, nowadays keys and all, what are you talking, sir? In Hong Kong and all, we don't use keys. You're all in backward. Chennai people are also backward. They are still living in Stone Age. Keys and all. We just use Face ID, isn't it? Scanners. You just come and stand in front. It just opens. I don't know. A small key gives you the entry to the palatial house. Similarly, the key to enter into that palatial house, Brahman, moksha, is what? What is the key? The key is this word, Maya. And all the preparation that we do, all the karma, bhakti, jnana, shravana, manana, nididhyasana, etc., all that we do is for what? One day to come to an understanding that this is Maya. The moment you understand it as mithya, immediately you will relax. For whatever happens will not affect you. If you don't see it as mithya, you see it as real. The moment you see it as real, after that don't come and ask how to handle it. The moment you see something as real, what will follow naturally? The sufferings, the pain follows naturally. You cannot see something as real and then ask how not to suffer. If you see something as real, you will. If you see something as real, you will suffer. For you not to suffer, what you should understand? It is mithya. They will follow? But the mistake that people make is they give a reality to it and then come and ask how to handle it. Vedanta says, now don't ask us how to handle this, because how much ever you are taught how to handle it, the problem will remain. What? What is the problem? The problem of mental suffering and agitation will remain. Like Swamiji gives example. Everything will be all right. Toothbrush can give you the agitation ceases. One thing, I'll give you another example he gives. Everything is so quiet. You wake up at 4 o'clock, you do the prayers, you want to go sit and do some study and all that. The pigeon sitting outside the pigeon sitting by the window starts making noise, and that noise of the pigeon is enough to upset you. So you don't need anything to upset you. There is something so fundamentally happening in you that you are always vulnerable, susceptible for affectation. Everybody follow? Something you are doing inside you that makes you constantly vulnerable for affectation, suffering. What is that you have done to yourself? The mithya is understood as satya. The mithya is understood as satya. And what makes you misunderstand the mithya as satya? The power of Maya. People not understanding this asks this question. What is the question? How did the when, why, wherefore, all these questions has no meaning. Why it has no meaning? It is the mind that projects, and when the mind is not there, there is no God. Imagine the same entity seen as 15 different things by 15 different entities. What is the question? If all the observers are gone, what is it then? Are you able to follow? The ant mind looks at it differently. The mosquito's mind looks at it differently. How will the mosquito see you? What all studies they have done about mosquitoes? Huh? Which blood group mosquito will like a lot? What a study it is. I really don't know which blood group the mosquito likes. Huh? If it is O positive, it will like a lot. I don't know. I'm just arbitrarily saying, huh? They have found out. Now, how does mosquito see you? Srikanth. How does mosquito will see you? I'm not asking how your wife sees you. That I know. How she sees you, that I know. How she looks at you. Useless man she sees. I know that. How does mosquito see you? Just blood. Yeah, just blood. That's all. The flesh-eating animal will see you as, it will not see the blood. It will see the flesh. Okay. Remove all the observers. What is it? What will be there? If all the observers are removed, what will be there? We don't know. What will be there? Vedanta says, don't say we don't know. You should say the reality will be there. When all the superimpositions, which is done by the different minds, are removed, what will remain? The reality will remain. And what is that reality? Adi, we know it already, sir. What is that reality? Shankar. What is that reality? S.R.L. Shankar. Brahman. That we know already, sir. We are hearing this for 35 years. We are hearing we have not yet understood in Brahman still. Brahman Gravartile we have not yet. Study classes, reflection, group discussion, Ura group discussion, but still nothing is happening. Why? Because the origin, the starting point. What is the starting point? You don't give it a reality status, you give it a mithya status. And that mithya status is a fact. That mithya status is not self-hypnotism. World is mithya. You are not self-hypnotizing to say it is mithya, it is mithya, it is mithya. Now are you able to follow? That mithya state, the reality status that you have given is ignorance. The real understanding of it is mithya. Therefore, that being mithya is a statement of fact. Therefore, Maya is not to explain about how creation happened. Maya isn't a theory of creation. Maya is simply an explanation of fact. What is the fact? All that you experience, including the experiencer. There is an experiencer, and then there is that experiencer experiencing something. this entire phenomena is called Maya. Venkatachalam. Maya means appearance. Maya means appearance. Snake is an, that's why the snake and rope is a magnificent example. Snake is an appearance. And for the snake to appear, you need a reality behind it. Otherwise, snake will not appear. And what is the connection between the reality and the appearance? What is how the real is seen? The extraordinary analysis of two illusions helps us to understand this. Somewhere I traveled and brought a connection to the text. At times I also wonder how I am going to connect it to the to the text. How the real appears, like how does it happen? What has happened? Vedanta has come up with a beautiful explanation. The beautiful explanation of the two illusions. So till now, what is established in one sentence? One word la solla mudiyadhu. Till now, in one sentence, what is established?
Maya is appearance.
Brahman, because of Maya, is appearing as world. It is Brahman, because of Maya, appearing as world. It is rope, because of Maya, appearing as snake. 3 weeks waste பண்ணிருக்கோம் sir. You wasted your time and you wasted our time for 3 weeks. இதெல்லாம் சொல்றதுக்கு. Simply you could have said one statement, what? Brahman, because of Maya, appears as the world. How everything about the world is so perfectly connected with Brahman, and yet there is the entity called Maya. The two illusions brings about an extraordinary elaboration to this point. One of the extraordinary explanations about Maya is this: how strikingly the original and the appearance has a similarity. How the appearance and the reality has a similarity. All that we are going to study now. We will read the two illusions and then we will take up the elaboration. We'll study the two illusions. The full lesson we'll study, the full chapter we'll study, the full topic.
The two illusions. The imposition of God as the creator of the world seems plausible, quite reasonable. But then it is a mere theory, a supposition, a speculation. By maintaining the theory that God created the world, you segregate God and the world, thereby restrict the nature of God. Moreover, by making God a creator, you attribute motives to God, label God as desire-ridden. You reduce the infinite to a finite being. You need to get over such belief to recognize an illusion you are caught up in. The self-realized have declared from their own experience that the world you perceive is an illusory projection upon the supreme reality, and that there are two illusions, the intrinsic and the extrinsic playing upon the human mind. The mass of humanity is lost in these illusions. An intrinsic illusion is one in which the real object and its image do not coexist. When the image appears, the object disappears. And when the object is cognized, the image disappears. The object and the image do not appear simultaneously. An example of the intrinsic illusion is a child seeing a ghost in the dark where there is a post. The child does not see the post. You see the post. You do not see the ghost. You bring in light, illumine the post. The child now cognizes the post. Instantly, the ghost is gone. You will notice that only one of them appears at a time. It is either the post or the ghost. The object and image can never appear together to the same person at one time. That is an intrinsic illusion. An extrinsic illusion is one in which the object, image, and the medium which causes the image appear together. All three are present at the same time. An example of an extrinsic illusion is reflection in a mirror. You see your image in the mirror. The mirror is the medium that produces your reflection. In this illusion, you, your reflection, and the mirror all appear together. The object, image, and the medium present themselves simultaneously. That is an extrinsic illusion. There's another interesting phenomenon about the two illusions, that both the intrinsic and extrinsic facets appear simultaneously in a single illusion. Consider a boy treading on a rope in the dark. He mistakes it for a snake. He sees a snake. He does not see the rope. Only one of the two is seen. That accounts for the intrinsic illusion. On deeper scrutiny, one finds therein an extrinsic illusion created as well. The boy describes the snake to be 6 feet long, 4 inches thick, brown in color. The rope also is 6 feet long, 4 inches thick, and brown. The boy's description of the snake fits exactly with that of the rope. The properties of rope is mirrored in the illusory snake. The properties of snake is merely a reflection of the properties of rope. The appearance of the illusory snake acts as the medium, causing the reflection of the properties. The moment the boy's mind projected the snake upon the rope, the snake becomes the medium for the properties of rope and the properties of snake to present themselves together at one time. Thus, the two sets of properties and the medium all appear simultaneously. That accounts for the extrinsic illusion. Human beings are caught up in both intrinsic and extrinsic illusions in their experience of the world. Brahman, the Supreme God, alone exists. But you see the world, a pluralistic phenomenon of things and beings. You do not see the one reality. You are thus caught up in an intrinsic illusion. You experience an extrinsic illusion as well. You see the properties of Brahman reflected in the world. Brahman is said to be eternal, all-pervading, infinite. These properties are reflected in the world that you experience. The world is made up of time, space, and causation. Time is eternal, space is all-pervading, and causation infinite. Thus, the properties of Brahman are seen reflected as the properties of world. The world acts as the medium causing the reflection of the properties. The moment the world appears, the properties of Brahman, the properties of world, and the medium, all three aspects show up. Thus are you caught up in an extrinsic illusion. Both the intrinsic and the extrinsic illusions appear in the human experience of the world. Nevertheless, there is but one reality, Brahman, God, that exists. It is the ignorance of Brahman that causes the illusion of the world. The non-apprehension of Brahman, the self within, causes the misapprehension of the world. You do not see the supreme reality. Instead, you see the world. The solid, seeming world is just a play of the illusions. The purpose of life is to cross over the illusions and recognize the supreme reality behind them. Apprehend the reality, attain spiritual enlightenment, become one with God.
The two illusions, intrinsic and the extrinsic. So, two technical words, let us remember. The word Satyam and the word Mithyam. Satyam is our understanding in relation to the reality of the object. Similarly, Mithyam is also a understanding that we have in relation to the reality of the object. Are you okay with this? Again, I repeat. The word Mithya refers to our understanding about the reality of something. When I use the word Mithya, it refers to my understanding about the reality. Similarly, if I use the word Satya, it refers to a word that reveals my understanding about the word, about the reality of an object. Therefore, Mithya is understood as the reality of an object which has no being on its own. And yet, how it is happening, the two illusions are going to explain that. Mithya is understood as the reality of an object which has no being on its own. It has no independent existence of its own, but it appears to be an independent existence. The snake and the rope, which is what we will be studying a lot when we analyze this. The two illusions. When we do this study, when we do this, we'll analyze that. The pot and the clay. If Satyam and Mithyam is very confusing, forget this. Remember the pot and the clay. The pot is not upon the clay, nor does it come out of the clay. And we cannot imagine a pot, clayless pot. Is it possible? Clayless pot. No, sir, you don't make it, don't say you can make it in metal. Huh? A clayless pot isn't possible. Why? Because that adhisthana has to be there. That adhisthana is misunderstood as that. And how the misunderstanding happens? Because of the play of the two illusions. There is an adhisthana, and then there is something that is experienced. What has happened that the adhishthanam is not seen as that, but misunderstood as something else. The rope is not seen as the rope, but seen as the snake. Brahman is not seen as Brahman, but seen as the world. The two illusions only explain this. What does it explain? Every product is mithya. Now I am explaining it as a formula, then we will take the two illusions. What is the formula? Every product is mithya. It is not separate from the material from which it is made. Every product is mithya. It is not different from the material of which it is made. And yet you see something else. Because of what? The play of the two illusions. And the two illusions is called extrinsic illusion and intrinsic illusion. The pot is clay, and clay is not the pot. Correct? The pot is clay, clear. The converse is not true. The clay is not the pot. In fact, pot will say what you are, in fact, clay will tell you what you are seeing as pot is only me. The gold will say what you are seeing as ornament is only me. The rope will say what you are seeing as snake is only me. Vedanta has come about with this extraordinary explanation of how what is happening, that the Satyam is seen as Mithyam. What has happened that the Satya is seen as Mithya? The play of the two illusions, the intrinsic and the extrinsic. Any number of times you can study this intrinsic and extrinsic illusion. Something will be very elusive about it. You feel you are always missing. You feel you are always missing something. Maya Pati Padikumbod, it will be Maya only, no? How can you conclusively conclude about Maya? Anything that you study about Maya will be part of the same Maya only. But they have come up with a very beautiful explanation. What is it? The two illusions, the intrinsic and the extrinsic. First, we will study the illusions as though they are separate. First, for clarity purposes, for understanding purposes, we will study they are separate. And then we understand how both function together. Just as in analysis, what do we do? You break it up into parts. When you break it up into parts, not only you understand it as the parts, you also understand how it is all synthesized. Analysis not only breaks it up. Are you able to follow? Analysis not only breaks it up. By breaking it up, it helps you to understand how it is all one. Analysis breaks it up and it gives you the clarity of the synthesis. So synthesize taniya pannave vanda. All that you got to do is analyze. Synthesis will automatically happen. That's clarity. That's called. So in Vedanta, what do? We go on analyzing so that it happens by itself. So in analysis, what do? This is a methodology of analysis. When we analyze, we try to take everything as an independent entity first for clarity purposes. For clarity purposes, we will study biology as separate, chemistry as separate, physics as separate. And then when you go to higher level, you will study biochemistry. You will ask whether it is biology or chemistry. What is this? What is this new combination? It synthesizes. At one point, it synthesizes. For a person who has broken up and understanding it clearly, the synthesis is very easy to comprehend. Therefore, what do first? We follow this method of analysis. First, we will study intrinsic illusion separately. We will study extrinsic illusion separately. And then we study how both functions together at the same time. First, we will study each of them separately. First is what? God as the creator is a speculation, a supposition, a mere story. When we say the imposition of God as the creator of the world seems plausible, quite reasonable, but then it is a mere theory. Replace the word theory with story. But then it is a mere story. What is the story? There is the creator created something. And that we have established very clearly. What? There is no such thing called creation at all. And we will not use the word creation. So in the first paragraph, that idea is reinforced again. What is the idea that is reinforced? Don't talk about it as creation. The moment you talk about it as creation, so many problems will come. What? The creator, with what he created. Why did he create? Yeah. He created so that we all can be devoted to him. That doesn't look like a god. That looks like a Hiranyakashipu, isn't it? You create something and tell that person, if you are not devoted to me, you will suffer. What kind of a creation is that? Or what kind of a creator is that? Forget about the creation. What kind of the creator is that? And you look at the world with all the chaos and confusion and the number of Omicron variants have exceeded human comprehension, isn't it? Every day, one new thing is coming. This is coming, that will be more than this will be more than that. The vaccine booster potalum, you will not survive. Yeah. Look at all that, you feel like better to die now only rather than living like that and dying one day. Why creator have to create something like this? So the moment you bring in the creator, the creator will be a desired entity. The creator will be a faulty entity. The creator will be at fault. Vedanta comes and says, இந்த மாதிரிலாம் பேசினிருக்காதீங்க, he says. Don't keep talking like this. Don't keep thinking. Those things are all stories. The self-realized from their own experience have declared. From their own understanding and experience, they have declared what? It is an illusory projection upon the supreme reality. Wherever we talk about the projection, what you should not forget? The reality that is supporting it. And there are two illusions, the projections, illusory projection. And that illusory projection is of two, intrinsic and extrinsic. Don't worry. Hopefully, I will try to conclude the two illusions in the next class. Okay. The next session, I will try and finish. To my satisfaction, whether I have explained it or not. So today, we are only making the introduction to these two illusions, the intrinsic and the extrinsic. So first thing that is cleared out is what? The creator created. For the defect in the product, who will be held responsible in the consumer court? If there is a defect in the product, they are responsible as the manufacturer, creator. Manufacturer, the creator. For all the defects in the world, who is responsible for all this? Our end the consumer court, you can put a case against him. Okay, you can put a case against him. Where you will send the notice? We don't even know his address to send the notice, isn't it? Therefore, one thing is clear. What? The creator, creation, connection is a story. And that story has its own utility. Carefully follow. That story has its own utility. That story temporarily brings about a satisfaction and quietude. But then, if you are getting satisfied with stories, isn't it? Where they will tell you story and spend time. Katha, Kala. Stories only. Purida, Shankar. I went and heard Bhagavata story. Cinema Bhagavathukkum, Katha Kalakshepathukum, no difference. Because both you spend time on listening to a story. And when you come out, what you understand? When you come out, what you understand? It's a story meant for? It's a story meant for what? Killing time. Carefully follow. Time pass illa. Correct? No? It's not time pass. It is killing time. Why? Because we just don't know. What do you do? You wake up, nothing to do. What will you do? In the paper entertainment column, isn't it? You open the newspaper and see what is happening where in the city, and you make your own program. Why? Because you got to kill time. You don't know how to kill time. So all that you hear to kill time, you don't give it reality. Here in Vedanta, we are talking about the reality. What is the reality? The world is an illusory projection upon the supreme reality. And there are two proofs for that. What are the two proofs? The first proof is the self-realized declaration. That is the first proof. That is the first pramanam. The first pramanam is the authority. The proof is the self-realized. But I don't believe that they are any self-realized, sir. And God-man doesn't look like, there's nothing godly about any God-man. Therefore, that Pramanam is the most. இன்னைக்கு laughing stock na God-man's Pramanam is the laughing stock today, isn't it? There is nothing godly about God-man. ரெண்டாவது, second is you should have matured to a very good level of growth to understand that person as a Pramanam. Okay, so if that is not, if that doesn't help, we resort to another method. What is the other method? The method of logic, reason, analysis. So the world is an illusory projection upon the supreme reality, is a statement of fact, and it has two pramanams. The first pramanam is what the self-realized have declared. As I said before, very difficult to know who is self-realized, who is not self-realized, isn't it? The way I talk, I look like I have a PhD in self-realization, isn't it? Not even ordinary degree. Looks like I have a PhD in self-realization. A person like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa or a Ramana Maharshi doesn't look like not even passed a kindergarten in the course of self-realization. They have not even passed a kindergarten. So who is self-realized, who is not self-realized, idallam or periya confusion. Therefore Vedanta says, let us keep it aside for a while. Let us keep that pramanam aside for a while and focus on the other pramanam. What is the other pramanam? The other authority, the authority of logic, reason and analysis. So we are using the pramanam of logic, reason and analysis to understand Maya. And what is that analytical method? The two illusions, the intrinsic and extrinsic. Half an hour intrinsic, extrinsic. So you passed the time, sir. It's at 9 o'clock now, isn't it? It's 9 o'clock now. Now you will say we will meet next week. And 1 week we have to wait. Yeah, whether you are going to come or not, whether you will be there, that way, what do we do? We'll wait. Next week, we will study the intrinsic illusion separately, extrinsic illusion separately, and or how both functions together. So wherever you have a difficulty in understanding the combined function, go back to separate. You will definitely have a problem in understanding that. How both combines together. It's not, he has made it very simple. But that simplicity itself is very complicated now. What do we do? That simplicity itself is so complicated and confusing. So what we will do, first we will study intrinsic separately, then we will study extrinsic separately, and then we will combine and read it together also. Next week we'll continue with the two illusions. We'll take up clarifications.
Mala has it.
Yes, Mala. Chalunga.
Sir, one question that I had asked last week, sir, in the context of today's Maya explanation, just little bit of confusion. This, the three gunas
Yes.
from which we cannot escape, is
Yes.
that also due to Maya?
Yes.
The action of the three gunas that is impacting us, is that also due to Maya?
The manifestation of Maya is the three gunas, which is what is already explained in Bhagavad Gita also. Trigunatmaka. The Maya is an illusion of the play of the three gunas. Yoga Maya. In the Bhagavad Gita, we are studying Yoga Maya now. What is Yoga Maya? Yoga Maya is the play of the three gunas creates an appearance. The play of the three gunas create an appearance. Therefore, it is Maya. The three gunas is Maya.
Sir, Maya we can, we can remove, but 3 gunas we cannot remove, sir. How to understand this? Or is it the understanding that
if Maya is removed, there are no gunas. If Maya is removed, there are no gunas, because manifestation of Maya is guna. What is guna? Guna is nothing but the manifestation of Maya. When Maya manifests, it manifests as the 3 gunas. So when Maya is removed, Maya will if Maya is removed, automatically what will get removed? Gunas. Or gunas have no independent existence apart from Maya. The world has no existence apart from Maya, and the world is the play of the 3 gunas from one angle. The world is 5 elements from one angle. On the physical plane, it is made up of the 5 elements. On the psychological plane, it is made up of the 3 gunas. From the angle of the koshas, it is made up of the 5 koshas. From the angle of the 3 bodies, it is made up of the gross, subtle and causal body. From the angle of the 3 states of consciousness, it is waking, dream, deep sleep. Easiest way, body, mind, intellect. All these are various angles to explain one thing. What? Maya.
Maya. Okay.
So, Maya pochilna, down the line, body, mind, intellect is gone. The 3 states of consciousness is gone. The 3 bodies, Sukshma, Stula, Sukshma, Karana, the gross, subtle and causal is gone. The 5 koshas, the Pancha koshas, the 5 layers is gone. The 5 elements.
The self-realized person
are gone. Everything is gone.
A self-realized person does not remove Maya, but he understands that these are acts of Maya and hence ignores it.
He doesn't remove Maya. By understanding, Maya gets removed. He doesn't remove Maya. Yes, he doesn't remove Maya. He simply understands. In that understanding, Maya gets removed. For Maya is not a dirt that you can wipe out and remove. If Maya is a dirt that you can wipe out and remove, some action can remove Maya. Maya is a misunderstanding. அதுக்குதான் இன்னைக்கு இப்போ அந்த two illusions ஆரம்பிக்கும் போது கூட I said Maya is not an object. It is your understanding in relation to the reality of something. That is Maya. Therefore, Maya is a word referring to our understanding about the reality of something, which is called as misunderstanding. So the word Satyam, the word reality, is also a word that reveals about the reality of something. So what the self-realized does, the self-realized don't remove Maya. They don't remove Maya. What they do, they simply understand. And this understanding is called knowledge. Knowledge is that which reveals it as it is. Knowledge is that which reveals as it is. What is the revelation? All that you are calling as Satya is Mithya. What is the revelation? Whatever you call as Satya is Mithya. The Satyam is not known. The Mithyam is seen as Satyam. What is the power of Maya? Avarna Vikshepa. We saw that already. It covers and reveals something else. Not only it covers, it reveals something else. It covers. Because of the covering, you don't see it as it is. There is no problem. We can remain blissfully in ignorance. But it doesn't do it. It just doesn't cover. It reveals something else. So knowledge is that which comes and removes it. Knowledge doesn't remove it. Removal is the word we are using. Knowledge simply reveals it. Just reveals it. In that revelation, it is understood clearly. Is it okay, Mala?
Okay. Great, sir. Great.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Okay. With this, we conclude for today and we continue with the study of the intrinsic and extrinsic illusion in the next session.